buses as many times as you'd like throughout the day. There are 5 stops that are located on your map by a yellow kangaroo logo. And express buses stop approximately every 15 minutes at each stop. And it's a great way for you to avoid some of the hills and a lot of the walking. As we continue up the pathway on the left, you'll see we're passing by Highway 163. If you take that 30 miles north, you'll come to our sister park, the San Diego Safari Park.
Siéntate, Stephanie.
That's where you see those animals roaming. It was created in the 1960s and was then opened to the public in 1972. It's about 20 times the size of our zoo with half of the acreage set aside for local wildlife. The Safari Park is also home to our Institute for Conservation Research. They do projects here in the United States as well as worldwide. If you'd like to find out some more about that and the research that they do, you can go to our website and click on the Wildlife Conservancy link. Now let's look off to our right and through the trees, see if we can spot any Grevy's zebra. They're from Africa. And once these guys are larger and stronger, they will be going up to our safari park where they will be forming herds of their own. I can see one up here on the left side of the exhibit. Now notice, of course, zebras are known for those black and white stripes. And people wonder why they have the stripes. One of the theories is that it confuses the predators. So if you imagine a herd of zebras running around, changing direction constantly, it might play tricks on a lion, for example's eyes, and it might be hard for them to pinpoint one zebra. Now on our left, we have our polar bear plunge section, where you can see diving ducks, Arctic fox, and reindeer. And we have 2 females and 1 male polar bear. All 3 of them were rescued. To give you an idea of their size, if an adult were to stand on its hind legs, it would be about 11 feet tall. And this bus is about 14 feet 8 inches. So polar bears are quite large. And one of the issues that they are facing in the Arctic is that there is less and less ice there every year due to climate change. Now, ice is of course very important to the polar bears because that's where they hunt. They make their icy dens for their cubs there. And they're also designed to camouflage or blend in with the ice. I'm going to start to continue up the hill, so hold on everybody. Now along the right hand side, we're going to be passing by many antelope exhibits. Antelopes are a common prey item, so you may see them looking around for predators. While they won't encounter any here at the zoo, it is something called a natural instinct, so you may still see that behavior. On the right hand side, that brown animal is called a bontebok. Notice those ridged horns. And next to them are the gerenuk. You see them in the back. They have the very long, slender neck. That gives them an advantage. So if they stand on their hind ends, they can actually reach leaves that are up higher that other antelopes couldn't reach. Now up above, we're reaching the other end of the Skyfari. A one-way trip will take you about 4 minutes. Those of you with a membership can ride for free by showing your membership card. And it's also included for free with a 1-day ticket, so you just have to show that. Otherwise, it costs $4. And if you find yourself in this area and you want to get to the exit, it also takes you very close to the closest exit. Now on the right hand side, we have our second 4D theater. This one is featuring Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. And on your left hand side, we're going to slowly be driving past the mountain lion exhibit. This is a new one that was just opened this summer, and it provides a lot of climbing and leaping opportunities for our mountain lions. Now, mountain lions do go by many different names. They can be referred to as pumas, panthers, and cougars as well. And they are actually all the same type of animal. It's just that they have a large territory and different regions call them by different names. Now on our left, we're passing by Kangaroo Express bus stop number 3, which is the entrance to our elephant odyssey. That's where you can walk through and see what San Diego may have looked like after the last ice age. So they'll have examples of ancient creatures and their modern day counterparts. theories as to why those animals disappeared and steps that scientists here at the zoo are taking to save and protect our current species. Next up on the right are the African lions. We have one male and one female here at the zoo. I can see the male is resting on that pedestal on your right-hand side. Now, a lion's roar can be heard up to 5 miles away. And lions are the second largest members of the cat family, the largest being the tiger. And the third largest is the jaguar of the Amazon of South America, which is in the next exhibit here. Let's keep our eyes out for her. Okay, I can see her. She is right here, down by the front fence line and by the rocks. You can identify a jaguar by those beautiful rosette patterns on their fur. Now, jaguars are excellent swimmers, so she does have a pool in her exhibit, as well as many climbing structures. You can see that they are great climbers, and they often do sleep up in those trees. Something that jaguars are facing in the wild is habitat fragmentation due to the buildings of highways, homes, and agriculture. However, there are some forward-thinking farmers that have started to build or to plant their coffee plants in the shades of forests. So if you are at the store, you might want to keep your eyes out for shade-grown coffee. Now on the right, we do have our elephant yard, where we have both African and Asian elephants. Does anybody know how you can tell the two apart? The ears, great. So the Asian elephants have smaller ears. The African ears, actually they kind of look like they're in the shape of the continent Africa. And you might notice elephants moving their ears around a lot throughout the day, and that's because it helps to cool down their bodies. Now to the right, we're passing by the Elephant Care Center. It is a state-of-the-art facility that was designed to allow us to look in and watch keepers working with the elephants. In fact, our elephants are on their feet a lot, and they do weigh a lot, so we want to make sure that they have great foot care. So right here on the front of this exhibit, you might notice those small little doors, square rectangular shapes that can be opened. Our elephants actually get pedicures. So the keepers will soak each foot in a tub, and then they are trained to stick through their feet right there on the right-hand side, and they will scrape and clean and trim and make sure that they have proper foot care. Now these birds we're passing by on the right-hand side with those really tall legs are called secretary birds. They use those long legs to walk through the tall grasslands, and when they find a food item that interests them, like a small mammal, lizard, or snake, they actually use their feet to stomp on the item before they eat it. Now both male and female African elephants have visible tusks all the time. However, it's only the Asian male elephant that you can always see their tusks. Females have them, but unless she were to lift up her trunk very high, you would not be able to see them. Up here on the right, we're coming up to Ranchapur, our adult Asian male elephant. So I'm hoping we'll get to look at his beautiful long tusks. Their tusks do continue to grow all the time, so Ranchapur has been trained to allow the staff to trim those tusks to prevent them from crisscrossing or reaching the ground. So as I pull forward, maybe if we look backwards, we'll get a little bit better view. Yeah, I can see them a little bit better now. And you might have noticed that in the elephant yard, we didn't have any trees. And that's because if the elephant wanted to reach the leaves at the top and they couldn't, they would knock down the entire tree. So instead we've created utilitrees, and that's what he's standing by right now. So those utilitrees can provide them with shade. There's a place where keepers can add hay and food items. And then up at the top, they can add enrichment items for the elephant to wrestle around and play with. Next up, if you look high on your right-hand side, you'll see some of our California condors. Now back in the 80s, there were only 22 of them left in the wild. So the California Condor Recovery Program took those 22 and brought them to a safe environment at our safari park, where we protected them from disease and poaching. And we had over 160 eggs hatched, and over 80 were released back into the wild. Now, during a 2012 census, it was determined there are now over 400 California condors, with over half in the wild. So that is a great success rate, and we are hoping that one day they will be a self-sustaining population. Now to the right, we're passing by Kangaroo Express stop number 4. And another helpful map marker I want to point out to you, as we drive forward, if you look ahead, there's a red circle with the number 10 on it. We have these located throughout the zoo. And if you see one, and you can use that as a reference on your map to quickly determine whereabouts you are. Now as you go down the street, if you look on your left-hand side, does anybody know what kind of plants we have growing here? I think I heard it, bamboo. So bamboo is the tallest member of the grass family, and it's also one of our accredited plant species here in our botanical garden. We actually grow over 12 different varieties for our campus here. It is their favorite food item. Now to our right, let's keep our eye out for the meerkats. They are from the Kalahari Desert of Africa, and every member of the meerkat family has a job. In fact, the one that we usually see is the sentry or the lookout, and those sentries have different alarm calls to let their family know if the predator is coming from the sky or from the ground. Next up on the right are the kopis. Kopis are volcanic outcroppings that can jut up about 500 feet out of the grasslands. They provide a lot of nooks and crannies for animals to hide or make nests. They also retain a lot of water and moisture after the rain. And you'll also find a lot of predators in those areas because they've determined that that's where a lot of the prey are going to be hiding out. Now if you walk through that section, some of the animals you may see are the dwarf mongoose, the klipspringer, and the hyrax. Now if you look up on the right-hand side, we're passing by the Baccalaureate eagle. I can see one sitting on the branch closest to the front of the exhibit. There are actually two in there. I think the other one is all the way in the back, up high on a rock. Now Baccalaureate in French means acrobat or street performer, and they get that name because during their courtship they do some daring dives and somersaults. You notice they have those bright red faces and feet. They also spend about 8 to 9 hours out of the day flying around in search of food for their families. And their menu items can range from something as small as a mouse all the way up to a small antelope.
Mira allá adentro de la puerta ahí.
On the right-hand side, we have some construction going on. A new section will be opening during the summer of 2017 here. It's called Africa Rocks, where we're going to have some new types of animals joining us here at the zoo. So we hope you'll be able to come back and check them out. And on the left, let's keep our eye out for the Siberian lynx. Oh, I can see one of them is right there on the right-hand side towards the front by the people. Now, Siberian lynx have many adaptations to help them out in their cool environment. They have that beautiful thick coat to keep them warm. They also have large tufted paws so they can walk on top of the snow, kind of like snowshoes for us. And they also have excellent hearing. They can actually hear a rabbit underneath the snow. So that's the Siberian lynx.
No, como cabra.
Next up on the right, we have our Chicoan peccaries from South America. They are a pig-like animal, and they were once thought to be extinct. It wasn't until the 1970s that they were rediscovered. So it's a little disheartening to think we may have improperly labeled animals on the extinction list that truly are not. There's a couple more to the right under that tree. They're just taking a little rest.
Saludos, Steph.
Now these exhibits on the right have a lot of our nocturnal animals. we might see some more activity from them later in the evening. The good thing about right now is we do have our nighttime zoo going on, so we are open until 9 p.m. Now if you look to the right, we do have a tree kangaroo. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see the brownish body with that long tail. So like I said, we're open till 9, so when you want to do this section a little bit later, there might be more activities, as a lot of them are just starting to wake up right about now.
Aquí está tirado, está tirado.
And if you find yourself in this section around 6:30 p.m. on the right in the Hunt Amphitheater, there will be a show called Australiana 2, Return to the Outback. If you look on the left-hand side, the right side all the way back, there's some sun shining on a jaguar. Jaguars are the third largest member of the cat family. They have that beautiful rosette pattern to their hair. And they are from the Amazon of South America. So if you look to your right-hand side, we're passing by the hornbills. We have a few different species here. Hornbills have an extra growth on their beak, known as a cap. It can be either hollow or spongy filled inside, and it allows for amplification of their calls throughout the rainforest. Now something we do here at the San Diego Zoo is we collect their shed feathers and send them to a tribe in Sarawak, Malaysia. And with this partnership, they have agreed not to hunt the hornbills for their feathers. So that's a really great partnership that we have going with them. On the right, we're passing by kangaroos.